So now to what some are referring to as Oregon's baby bust, the state grappling with the lowest birth rate in 25 years. Question is, what does this really mean for everybody else?
And we want to get right to KGW investigative reporter Kylie Boshi. And Kyle, this is quite the study.
Indeed, it follows a national trend. Many women are either delaying or not having children. Birth rates in Multnomah, Washington, and Clackamas counties have all declined over the past 3 years.
At Gymboree Play and Music, there are babies and toddlers crawling all over the place. They learn to climb, explore, play, and dance. But soon, these little ones and their parents may find there are fewer classmates around. Oregon is in a baby slump. Newly released data shows after years of stability, the birth rate in Oregon has fallen steeply. There were only 42,000 newborns in 2018, marking the lowest number of babies born in the state in 25 years.
We're surprised by how fast this has changed.
Researchers explain one of the biggest factors for our declining fertility rate is that women are waiting longer to have babies. In 2000, most new moms in Oregon were in their early 20s. Today, they're in their 30s.
Although that doesn't sound like a lot, 5-6 year postponement to those higher rates mean that if most women are having children in their early to mid 30s, maybe that's their first child, the likelihood that they'll have a second child is very small.
Additionally, the research shows in Oregon, Hispanic women in particular are having fewer kids, down from an average of 3.2 in 1990 to about 2 children in 2017.
You know, having a child with all its gifts and all its wonderful aspects to it is also a lot of work, and I think people are acknowledging that.
Wendy Curtis is a Portland counselor who created the Child Free by Choice support group.
And that's a lot of what people want to talk about, is the pressure that they receive from especially family members to have kids, and what's wrong with you that you don't want to have kids.
Curtis believes many young adults aren't having children or delaying it because of concerns about not having enough time or money. Many have student debt, housing isn't cheap, and they're building a career.
They're already crunched financially and they're already stressed.
It is part of a national trend.
Karen Foster, author of No Way Baby, explained attitudes have changed surrounding child-free adults.
It's a much more acceptable choice than it used to be. I mean, think about a woman in the 1950s saying, I don't want to have children. It would be absurd, wouldn't it?
Researchers say Oregon's declining birth rate could impact our schools because of a drop in students, the labor supply because there aren't as many workers, and funding for public services because there aren't as many people paying taxes.
Fertility tends to be one of these things that it can take up to 5 years, potentially a decade, potentially 2 decades before you start to see really material effects.
Certainly, the trends could change, but if the birth rate continues to fall, this generation could be dubbed the baby bust.
What's interesting is Oregon's population continues to rise. That's because so many people are moving here, although they're not necessarily bringing babies with them.
Well, that is eye-opening. The baby bust really could have ramifications later.
Long term.
Thank you, Kyle.